If we close our eyes, remember all that we have. Our hearts will feel a brighter day. We'll sing Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu. Sometimes we get overwhelmed by all the hatred and pain. If we can look past our differences, there's so much we can gain. If we open our eyes to see the beauty inside, our hearts will feel a brighter day. We'll sing Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu. Let's join our hands together in gratitude we treasure the golden chain of love. Our hearts gathered in one place, our differences will embrace. We will be as one. Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida, Namo Amida Butsu.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Noble can hear me? Noble, can you hear me? Okay. Everybody move up front then. Then I'll be your MC once again this morning. And welcome to Makawao Ganji's third Sunday. Is it third Sunday? Second Sunday, Dharma Family Service. Please stand if you're able. Let us begin the service by singing the Dana Tisarana together, both in Pali and English. Today's sutra. Oh, please be seated.
Standing up if you like.
We'll be doing Junidai, the 12 homages of Amida Buddha, which will be found on the screen. Junidai is Teknya Hien because sutra refers specifically to the teaching directly attributed to Gautama Buddha. Traditionally, sutra are recited from memory, which is the way that teachings were transmitted for 100 years after the Buddha died. The melody of Junidai is familiar to Jodo Shinshu Buddhists around the world. And this chanting will be followed by meditation right over here.
Sai Let's sit together quietly for a few moments. So just relax and get comfortable. If you're able, sit forward in your seat and place both feet flat on the ground. Sit up straight. Align your head, neck, shoulders, and back in a straight line that goes down to the floor. Place your hands comfortably in your lap. Now close your eyes and just breathe. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. As you breathe in, you'll feel energy filling your body. And as you breathe out, any stress or worries in your mind just fade away. Just breathe. The sound of the gong will signal the end of our quiet meditation.
We encourage everyone, both here in person and at home, joining us by live stream to offer incense as an expression of gratitude. The golden chain of love. Let us begin. I am a lady in the Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure, beautiful thoughts, to say pure, beautiful words, and to do pure, beautiful deeds, knowing that what I do now depends not only on my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in Anita's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida. Oh, we're singing? We have to
no
sing.
organist.
No organist.
We can do it a cappella.
We're going to do it a cappella, or we're going to?
Everyone's going to. No.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to rest this week.
Each
All right.
morning, each night, I buy all myself.
You want to sing it on? Okay, well anyway, we did it very good singing. Now we're going to children's Dharma story time. Okay, here we go.
I think about but I turned all the music off for like Ondo-san and Nembutsu did.
Okay.
We'll have to turn it back on. Okay, so there we are. Okay, let's fool around here today. And now it's Children's Dharma Story Time, starring me, Barkle the dog, the rascal dog. How y'all doing this fine morning? Hope you're feeling good and doing well. Let's see, Lucy, let's see. Good morning. Aloha kako, aloha for everyone. I'm so happy to see all of you this morning. We have a great story for you today. Hi, you got that right. Today's story is The Little House by Virginia Lee Burton. Just like I said, it's a little bit longer than most of the stories we do. It's an absolutely classic story. I don't know if you remember it. This is the 75th anniversary of the publication of this story. And I remember this when I was a kid. So here we go.
Good year. Good year.
The Little House. Story and Pictures by Virginia Lee Burton. That's when it's supposed to start.
Once upon a time, there was a little house way out in the country. She was a pretty little house, and she was strong and well built. The man who built her so well said, "This little house shall never be sold for gold or silver, and she will live to see our great-great-grandchildren's great-great-grandchildren living in her." The little house was very happy as she sat on the hill and watched the countryside around her. She watched the sun rise in the morning, and she watched the sun set in the evening. Day followed day, each one a little different from the one before, but the little house stayed just the same. In the nights, she watched the moon grow from a thin new moon to a full moon, then back again to a thin old moon. And when there was no moon, she watched the stars. Way off in the distance, she could see the lights of the city. The little house was curious about the city and wondered what it would be like to live there. Time passed quickly for the little house as she watched the countryside slowly change with the seasons. In the spring, when the days grew longer and the sun warmer, she waited for the first robin to return from the south. She watched the grass turn green. She watched the buds on the trees swell and the apple trees burst into blossom. She watched the children playing in the brook. In the long summer days, she sat in the sun and watched the trees cover themselves with leaves and the white daisies cover the hill. She watched the gardens grow, and she watched the apples turn red and ripen. She watched the children swimming in the pool. In the fall, when the days grew shorter and the nights colder, she watched the first frost turn the leaves to bright yellow and orange and red. She watched the harvest gathered and the apples picked. She watched the children going back to school. In the winter, when the nights were long and the days short, and the countryside covered with snow, she watched the children coasting and skating. Year followed year. The apple trees grew old and new ones were planted. The children grew up and went away to the city. And now at night, the lights of the city seemed brighter and closer. One day, the little house was surprised to see a horseless carriage coming down the winding country road. Pretty soon there were more of them on the road, and fewer carriages pulled by horses. Pretty soon along came some surveyors and surveyed a line in front of the little house. Pretty soon, along came a steam shovel and dug a road through the hill covered with daisies. Then some trucks came and dumped big stones on the road. Then some trucks with little stones. Then some trucks with tar and sand. And finally, a steamroller came and rolled it all smooth, and the road was done. Now the little house watched the trucks and automobiles going back and forth to the city. Gasoline stations, roadside stands, and small houses followed the new road. Everyone and everything moved much faster now than before. More roads were made, and the countryside was divided into lots. More houses and bigger houses, apartment houses and tenement houses, schools, stores, and garages spread over the land and crowded around the little house. No one wanted to live in her and take care of her anymore. She couldn't be sold for gold or silver, so she just stayed there and watched. Now it was not so quiet and peaceful at night. Now the lights of the city were bright and very close, and the street lights shone all night. This must be living in the city, thought the little house, and didn't know whether she liked it or not. She missed the field of daisies and the apple trees dancing in the moonlight. Soon there were trolley cars going back and forth in front of the little house. They went back and forth all day and part of the night. Everyone seemed to be very busy, and everyone seemed to be in a hurry. Pretty soon there was an elevated train going back and forth above the little house. The air was filled with dust and smoke, and the noise was so loud that it shook the little house. Now she couldn't tell when spring came, or summer, or fall, or winter. It all seemed about the same. Pretty soon, there was a subway going back and forth underneath the little house. She couldn't see it, but she could feel and hear it. People were moving faster and faster. No one noticed the little house anymore. They hurried by without a glance. Pretty soon, they tore down the apartment houses and tenement houses around the little house and started digging big cellars, one on each side. The steam shovels dug down 3 stories on one side and 4 stories on the other side. Pretty soon, they started building up. They built up 25 stories on one side and 35 stories on the other. Now, the little house only saw the sun at noon and didn't see the moon or stars at night at all because the lights of the city were too bright. She didn't like living in the city. At night, she used to dream of the country and the field of daisies and the apple trees dancing in the moonlight. The little house was very sad and lonely. Her paint was cracked and dirty. Her windows were broken and her shutters hung crookedly. She looked shabby, though she was just as good a house as ever underneath. Then, one fine morning in spring, along came the great-great-granddaughter of the man who built the little house so well. She saw the shabby little house, but she didn't hurry by. There was something about the little house that made her stop and look again. She said to her husband, "That little house looks just like the little house my grandmother lived in when she was a little girl. Only that little house was way out in the country on a hill covered with daisies and apple trees growing around." They found out it was the very same house. So they went to the movers to see if the little house could be moved. The movers looked the little house all over and said, "Sure, this house is as good as ever. She's built so well we could move her anywhere." So they jacked up the little house and put her on wheels. Traffic was held up for hours as they slowly moved her out of the city. At first, the little house was frightened, but after she got used to it, she rather liked it. They rolled along the big road and they rolled along the little roads until they were way out in the country. When the little house saw the green grass and heard the birds singing, she didn't feel sad anymore. They went along and along, but they couldn't seem to find just the right place. They tried the little house here, and they tried her there. Finally, they saw a little hill in the middle of a field and apple trees growing around. "There," said the great-great-granddaughter, "that's just the place." "Yes, it is," said the little house to herself. A cellar was dug on top of the hill, and slowly they moved the house from the road to the hill. The windows and shutters were fixed, and once again they painted her a lovely shade of pink. As the little house settled down on her new foundation, she smiled happily. Once again she could watch the sun and moon and stars. Once again she could watch spring and summer and fall and winter come and go. Once again, she was lived in and taken care of. Never again would she be curious about the city. Never again would she want to live there. The stars twinkled above her. A new moon was coming up. It was spring, and all was quiet and peaceful in the country.
And that was the story, The Little House, by Virginia Lee Burton. Oops, wrong slide. But anyway, wasn't that a great story? Hey, Michan, what part did you like? Really? I love that part too. Actually, this book is so famous, Mimi said that when she was a child, she had the Japanese version. So the Japanese translated version of this story, in Japan, she remembers it from when she was a kid. Whoa, that's amazing, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Sorry, what was I going to say? Oh, that's right. Okay, so I'm saying, what do you say? Do you mind if we just join you for the Dharma talk? Sounds good to me. Okay, so let's think about this, right? The story is obviously, it's a children's story. It's a little bit on the long side, but it's very poetic, and it could be a metaphor for many things. But think about it from a personal perspective, right? What would happen if you never changed? So you're the little house, right? So we're talking about the truth of impermanence. Well, Sensei, I think if I never changed, everything around me would change. Everything else would change. Well, that's right. That's what happened in the story, right? So the beautiful house in the countryside, and suddenly the big city built up around her. I can share that in Tokyo, in the Omotesando area, a very cool and trendy area. There is literally something like this. There's this little house, tiny little Japanese house, surrounded. I mean, they literally built around this person's house. The family absolutely refused to sell. It's super famous. I mean, and the price kept going up. It was literally worth, like $25 million, and it's maybe 1/10 the size of this room. I mean, it's a little tiny Japanese house. Next to, like the Prada store was a block and a half over. If you've ever been to Tokyo, the Prada store is very, architecturally, it's gorgeous, gorgeous. The super trendy area, and the family absolutely refused to sell it. So anyway, it happens everywhere. But think about that, right? So this person had the house from the end of the war, or before the war actually. Most of Tokyo, a lot of Tokyo was destroyed. And then they rebuilt it in the 60s and 70s. But anyway, this person kept the house. But think about that. If you were frozen in time just right now, okay, Sensei, I'm going to put some magic on everybody here. Okay, poof, you're frozen in time. So everything would change, except you. Okay, you never get sick. I mean, you never age, you never get sick, you never die. That sounds, well, gee, Sensei, that sounds pretty good. That sounds like a good deal. Wouldn't it be nice to never get old or get sick or have your body hurt or die? That'd be great, wouldn't it? Well, I don't know, Barkley, think about this. Everybody that you know would die before you. So we've just done a couple of funerals for 105 and 104 people. And quite literally, great-grandchildren coming to the funeral. But all of her peers, all of her friends, have passed before her. Although actually some of her brothers and sisters were there. So it just depends. But think about that, right? Oh yes, permanent, I want to live forever. But everybody you know will die before you. Okay, so we know the truth of impermanence, right? Everything and everything, especially me, especially what I think of as Carrie and myself, it's constantly changing and it's inevitably going to come to an end. Which sounds a little depressing, but that is the truth of human existence as taught by the Buddha. And that's why this story I thought was really interesting. I think Mimi and I came to Maui for the first time maybe 35, 40 years ago. I remember the airport. I said, wow, what a cool airport. This is like, it's got palm trees. And driving out from the airport, I think the airport access road wasn't there. And then we're driving up toward the Wailuku. It's like everything on the left side and the right side. It wasn't there 30 years ago. We stayed in Kihei. There was nothing in Kihei except a bunch of condos that was overbuilt. So you could get a room on Maui, super cheap, super cheap. And now, so we come back 30 years later, and holy cow, what is this big, huge thing called Kihei? Queen Ka'ahu Manu, shopping center, the Queen K shopping, that wasn't there. All this stuff on this side wasn't there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, think of this story as a metaphor for Maui. How much has Maui changed in your lifetime? And I mean, for us, it was just surprising. And actually, we did go to Lahaina, and I remember the big tree. We stayed in, I can't remember the name of the hotel, the old hotel by the harbor right there. So we stayed in that one. You know, the big tree, everything was there. But you think about that, everything is constantly changing. That's what the Buddha taught. Everything's constantly changing, and it's going to come to an end. So, right, samsara is the Sanskrit word for the realm of human confusion and delusion. If you guys are really into it, I'll show you the 6 realms of existence in the Buddhist world, the Buddhist cosmology. The world of the human world is called samsara. It's the world of delusion and confusion. Right? Now we know the truth. We know the truth of impermanence applies to everybody, everything, and yet we try to hold on to what we used to be, what we are right now. But when you think, and this whole point of the story was, well, think about that. Everything around you is going to change. And then delusion, right? We convince ourselves, no, I'm not going to get old, I'm not going to get sick, I'm going to. By the time I reach that age, they'll have a cure for everything. But if you were the only person who got to live forever, science fiction, they write stories about that. So again, we're stuck in this world of confusion and delusion because our ego says, no, I want to live. I don't want to get old. I don't want to be the person in the bed. And so we're stuck in this cycle. And we can spend most of our life, which is limited, it's unrepeatable, kind of spinning our wheels. So Buddhism is a path to break free of this endless cycle of birth and death. And that's, you have to kind of get into the whole Buddhist worldview and the cosmology and stuff, but if you think about it, we're constantly recycling in these 6 realms. And for humans, right, you get a one chance to break free. And this is why the Buddha says, and this is Gautama, this is Shakyamuni Buddha, few among men are they who cross to the further shore. The others merely run up and down the bank on this side. The wisdom of Gautama Buddha in the Dhammapada, verse number 85. So next week is Higan. So Higan is the equinox, when day and night are exactly the same, light and dark are exactly the same. We're going to have a guest speaker, but we always talk about reaching the other shore. Reaching the other shore. So even Shakyamuni Buddha saying the same thing. There's not a lot of people who actually break free of the realm of confusion and delusion. So most of us spend our lives running up and down the banks, on this side. And the whole point is to get to the other side. So thank you for your patience. I know the story is a little bit on the long side, but it's a great story, and it just reminds us, what would it be like if you never changed? If you were the exception to the truth of impermanence, what would happen? And I think that's what this story says. Well, geez, I'd say that's very profound of you. I think we should let everybody go up to get some refreshments now. Or maybe a cup of coffee. That's kind of long, sounds. Okay, thank you very much. I think that was the last one. Yep. No.
Thank you, Reverend Carey, for your Dharma message. Right. Let us all chant the Metta Sutta, the Loving Kindness Sutra. May all
beings be
happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May I be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to me. May I live in peace and harmony. May my family be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my friends be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my teachers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May strangers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my enemies be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them.
May they live in peace and harmony. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony.
Please rise if you're able and let us say Ondoku-san, which will be found on the screen.
If you give me 2 minutes, I can turn the music on.
Okay, wait.
Okay, we're just going to sing about it.
Okay. Please remain standing for the Nembutsu. Okay, please be seated. Reverend will now lead us in gratitude meditation.
So let's sit together quietly again for a few moments. So just relax and get comfortable. If you're able, sit forward in your seat and place both feet firmly down. Sit up straight. Align your head, neck, shoulders, and back in a straight line that goes down to the floor. Place your hands comfortably in your lap. Now close your eyes halfway so that you're looking both inwardly and outwardly. And just breathe. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. As you breathe in, think of something for which you are grateful. As you breathe out, just say mahalo. Just say thank you, thank you, thank you. Just breathe. The sound of the gong will signal the end of our quiet meditation.
thank you very much for joining our Dharma family service today, and may your day be filled with aloha. We have some announcements. I have some.
Okay, so next week is Ohigan. So it is the spring equinox service. It is a major service in the Honganji tradition. And we'll be having a guest speaker, so please come. English is not her native language, so please be kind. And we'll just see how it goes. I can give you the really long story about Ohigan if you like, and we'll go through the white path and stuff. But this is again, she's my classmate. Her older sister is my classmate from the seminary. So the younger sister is coming here to do research, is kenshu or training, but on her own. So I think she's coming to check out Honganji temples, and she's thinking of becoming a missionary, Kaikyoshu. So let's try to get her to join us here. We'll see. And then just have Dharma family service for the rest of the month. I think that's all I've got. Any other announcements?
Yeah, we'll have Dharma school. Oh, sorry.
Because we have a guest speaker, could we have Dharma school on the 24th then?
Okay, let's do that.
Is that okay?
24th. Oh, that's, yeah.
Yeah, 24th.
That would be the 3rd, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have it on the 24th, our Dharma school.
Okay.
Okay. And Hanamatsuri. Okay, today is the deadline for Hanamatsuri sign up. So if you haven't signed up yet, I'll take this up to the social hall because we need a count, I think, today. Is that right? Yes, okay.
When we had our New Year's party in January, we had 2 trays of food left over. One was the roast pork and the other was the shrimp, breaded shrimp. We have put them in the freezer, and on Thursday, you're all invited to come join us with the senior program, senior people for lunch around 11 o'clock. So we'll heat it up and serve that. So please come.
I think Karen is still telling us to sign up for the triple celebration, right, Karen?
Yes.
So in conjunction with the triple celebration, 135th anniversary, Hompa Honganji is asking people to share their Nembutsu moments. And they're going to put it together in a book or share it in the newsletter or different things. But what is a Nembutsu moment? Think about, all the teachings that we listen to and something that happened that you can say, wow. Just say, wow. Okay? So in the flyer, it explains a little bit more about what the Nembutsu moment is. Bishop Matsumoto explained. So you have until August 31st to do this. And again, it's all submitted to the website. There's a thing you click on your phone and you can submit it. But just for myself, last week's funeral for Florence Sakai, that was a real Nembutsu moment in some ways because her family just came together. And that's one of the things that we have in Buddhism. Yeah, we have these every so many years, we have memorial service for our departed loved ones. But in 105 years, she really taught everybody a lot of things, and she had a slideshow. And one thing I learned from the slideshow, you gotta take pictures when you get together with your family. Even if there's one person that's gonna always say, stop, gotta take picture, because it was really wonderful. But anyway, Nembutsu moments. The flyer will be around, so please think about it, but don't think too much. Every one of us has had a lot of Nembutsu moments, I think. Thank you. Anybody else? Nope. Okay, well, we'll have a great week. We'll see you next Sunday. Oh, Thursday for senior program and lunch.
Eat lots of food day.
Eat eat lots of food day. Okay, have a great week. Thank you.
I would say the family said, for Florence's family, they didn't say if you live to 105, the remembrance video is really long. It actually was like twice as long as the usual one.